At this very moment, we've got more than 250 kids and their families being helped across the street. We, with much admiration, call that building over there the Monroe Carell Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt. And our thoughts are with all those kids and families over there. Our hospital is near or at capacity or over capacity every single day, and I know most of you know that. We're here under this tent today. We're celebrating the fact that we are growing to new heights. We're building more floors, and that means we can help even more kids and their families. And you know what? Every now and then, it's good just to gather together, take a breath, celebrate, and make a little applause, because this really is something to celebrate. A lot of tough stuff going on across the street, you know, and there's also some smiles that go with it, because there's a lot of victories going on here, and I think we're all here today to make sure that that continues. I'm Kix Brooks, by the way, and I'll be your MC for this morning's activity. Our event theme is called Building. Could you please make that kid shut up? Just kidding. We love children here at the hospital. Just trying to have a little fun. Our event theme here is building stories of hope and healing. And obviously, without your support, we can't build more stories to help more children and their families in our community, in our state, in our region, absolutely around the world. This hospital is no longer just a Nashville hospital. I mean, there's so many local communities that I've found out, not just in Tennessee, but in the region. They just don't have the facilities, the people, the infrastructure, all the things that it takes to help kids, and they come here, and that's what this is all about. That's why when I first became involved here, there were a lot of local children's hospitals that could do their own thing, and as time moves on, this has become the place. So we have more and more responsibility to help our children. Many of you were here with us last October. We gathered in this exact location under this same tent, and we kicked off what was then a $30 million effort to provide the highest quality care we could for our kids. Now, we're not exactly breaking ground here, so to speak, because this expansion, as I'm sure most all of you know, is going up at the top of the hospital thanks to some brilliant engineers. So rather than digging some dirt today and trying to figure that out, we are signing this beam here in front of us. It symbolically represents building stories of hope and healing. So many of you have already had the opportunity to sign it. If not, please do so before you leave. It's really neat. All the symbolic gestures that have been made to the hospital over the years. I know I still love going up and seeing my butterfly from years ago. These things are important, so it's good. Please participate. It's been interesting this morning talking to people about how we got involved in the hospital, and I know everyone here has their story. And I won't bore you for a long time with mine, but I've been asked that question several times today. So real quick, I didn't know anything about, I'd heard of Vanderbilt Children's Hospital, and I had a music publisher at the time, Donna Hilley, some of you may know. She's no longer with us, but was a great lady, very powerful lady in the music business. And Ronnie Dunn and I had just started to catch our wave in the music business. And I was kind of up at my publishing company talking to Donna and strutting around because we had just had our first sellout over at the amphitheater, which is no longer there. And I don't know how many people it was, but we were very proud of ourselves. And in the midst of all my arrogance, Donna said, well, I have a plan for you, Kix. I want you to give all the money from that show to Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. Wow, you have a great idea there, Donna. With my money, thank you so much. And, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, that ain't gonna happen. And she said, look, the decision is obviously yours, but if you'll do me a favor, I just want you to go over there and walk around and say hey to the kids and meet some of those families. And I did, and that was the beginning of my relationship with this hospital. Ronnie Dunn and I, without hesitation, gave every nickel that night to the hospital, and I've continued. It's been a blessing for me. I mean, it's easy to make more money, but the job that these doctors and their nurses and the volunteers do at this hospital is priceless. So for me, it is a real honor to be involved in any way, and I think it makes it a lot easier when we're doing fundraisers. I know for my partner, my manager, Clarence Spaulding, who's here today, you know, for us to go and talk to our friends in the music business to try and help money for this, it's an easy ask. It's not always easy to get the money out of them, but it's an easy ask because I believe in this place so much. I guess there's not always a clear motivation for why we give, but all you got to do is go in that hospital over there, and if by some chance someone here has not walked through those doors and had a chance to see what's going on there, please do yourself a favor and go over there and do that. Right now, over there's 3-year-olds, there's 12-year-olds, there's preemie babies. We're out here for this event, and I guess all I can say is time is of the essence right now. The quicker that we can help raise this money to try and help them, the better off that their chances are, and a lot of other children's chances will be. So thank you all so much for being here. One of the families that fought that fight is the Schmucker family. And it's my honor right now to introduce an amazing, she's so cute and she has the best curls and the prettiest shoes on. She's a little 3.5-year-old girl named Gloria. Her parents, Marlene and Martin Schmucker, who I just had the pleasure of meeting. They're here with us today, came all the way down from Franklin, Kentucky. And nearly 4 years ago, they were visiting a family in the state of Virginia. Marlene went into early labor. Gloria was born 2 days old, had to take her first plane ride with outstanding transfer team from Vanderbilt's NICU unit. And I would like to ask them now if they would please come up here and share the rest of your story about how you came to Monroe Carell Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt. Thank you very much.
Gloria was born at 33 weeks in Winchester, Virginia, with defects of the esophagus, the esophageal atresia, and a tracheoesophageal fistula. And those are big words that basically mean the upper esophagus did not connect with the lower esophagus and the stomach, and there was a connection between the esophagus, the lower esophagus, and her trachea. The hospital where she was born was not able to do the pediatric surgery that she needed. And so we need to find a facility that could address her needs. A call was placed to the Monroe Carell Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt and to ask if they would accept our daughter's case. And without hesitation, they accepted her immediately and arranged for transport with the Angel Flight team. The transfer team was amazing, and they made the difficult task of seeing your 2-day-old daughter take her first plane ride without you. We knew that she was in good hands. Gloria underwent 2 surgeries under the capable hands of Dr. Dae Chung, our pediatric surgeon. The plan for the first surgery was to detach the lower esophagus from the trachea and try to attach it to the upper esophagus. He was successfully able to detach from the trachea and repair that, but was not able to make the connection because the gap was too large. He then did an incredible procedure with suture strings where they put tension on the ends and put a little pressure on it just a little at a time to try to get her esophagus to grow so that they can make that connection. And then after 2 weeks, she had a second surgery to try to make that connection again, but the gap was still too large, and so they sewed the ends shut, clamped them, and to make sure they didn't lose what they had gained. But a future surgery was certain for her. At 6 months, they thought they would be able to try to do another surgery to make that connection. And 6 months to us sounded like an eternity. She would needed to stay in the NICU the whole time. However, we settled into a routine. We stayed at the Ronald McDonald House and made the trip back and forth many times from Kentucky. And at 4 months, we noticed something new. Dr. Bill Walsh, the NICU chief of nurseries, suspected that he was seeing baby formula in the tube that was helping clear her secretions because she was unable to swallow properly. He ordered a test, and sure enough, there was formula coming out of that tube, which was in her mouth. After a few more tests, we confirmed that there was the tiniest thread of a connection between her upper and lower esophagus. The certain surgery that we thought was going to happen was no longer needed. So that was, we believe, was a miraculous answer to prayer. So after 5 months in the NICU, we were able to take our precious baby home. After 9 procedures to stretch that connection, Gloria now eats normally and is a very spunky, as you can see, 3.5-year-old. We cannot say enough about our incredible team of doctors and nurses. During our entire 5-month stay with them, they always treated us with respect, and Gloria received excellent care. I know Dr. Chung, Dr. Walsh are here along with outstanding NICU nurses Regina Copeland, Michelle Graham, and Ronna Wise. Please raise your hands so that we can recognize you publicly. In fact, we were motivated to do something, and so when the invitation was to join the NICU Family Advisory Council, my wife said absolutely, and so she serves on that. It is now our honor to ask Dr. Jeff Balser, Vanderbilt Vice Chancellor of Health Affairs and Dean of School of Medicine, to come forward.
That's a tough act to follow. Thank you all for sharing a really moving story of hope and healing. One of the most important things I will do here today is recognize Kathryn Carroll Brown, the amazing woman who's serving as the chair of the Growing to New Heights campaign. Kathryn and her sisters, Julie Carroll Stadler and Edie Carroll Johnson, and their families are leading the charge to take this extraordinary next step in the care of our children. I'm deeply grateful to them and to the whole Carroll family. We would not be here without you. Can we have a round of applause? In successful and ambitious efforts like this, it always takes a village, and we have a campaign cabinet that has worked incredibly hard, making contacts, making calls, and really leading by example with their own giving. And I want to recognize Kix Brooks, Rick Dreiling, Steve Hostetter, Bobby Rolfe, and Clarence Spalding. What an amazing team. Thank you all. So the Monroe Carell Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt is unique. In this region of the country, we are the only comprehensive health care provider for children. That's over 2,500 people in that building across the street dedicated entirely to the lives of children. We have nearly 500 full-time pediatricians with advanced training in more than 30 pediatric specialties. Our pediatrics department is one of the 5 leading programs in the country in children's research supported by the National Institutes of Health. The people who work day and night in this building are extraordinary. We trust them to care for our children. We trust them because they are incredibly skilled and because they are tireless, but we trust them for another reason. We trust them because they care about more than treating diseases. They care about the child. And they care about the families. They understand that keeping the family at the center, not at the periphery, supports healing. You can see our family-centered model everywhere you go in the hospital, from the play areas to the extra-large rooms that we build so that a parent can stay in the room at night when their child needs them most. For those of us with a child in our lives, this is the place that gives us hope when we need it most. Few things could be more important than what we are here for today, making this place even more accessible to the children of this growing community, the children who are our future. Finally, to the Children's Hospital leaders and many dedicated staff with us today, my special thanks for all you do every day to improve the lives of our children. And now I want to introduce Chancellor Nick Zeppos to also give a few remarks. Nick, thank you for being here.
Well, I don't know, Kix, after you made that comment, I feel like I should have a kid bouncing on my knee just to warm up the crowd. But, it's just a privilege and a pleasure to be here at such a wonderful event that brings so much hope to so many people in our region and across the country and the world. And, I watch a lot of sports and things like that, and there's always this, do you believe in miracles? And a lot of people ask, are there miracles? And I just say, well, if you really want to know if there are miracles, and I think Martin said this, as Gloria was on a plane called an angel airplane, that's where you go to see the miracles, things that you just can't believe can happen. And I've already admitted Gloria to the class of 2034, and I like the spunk, Gloria. I like it, and she was writing on a pad. I think it was her college essay. So I think we're in great shape for, she'll probably be on staff in the hospital someday. But I'll say my job is fascinating. I get to see so many good things, and I get to see a lot of bad things too. But I also say my job's like working in a graveyard. A lot of people underneath me, nobody listens. But on rare occasions, I'm actually asked to do something. I'm actually asked, and one of the most important things I get to do is to say, boy, it's a big, complex place. We train ministers, we educate doctors, we have miracles across the street. We send 18-year-olds like Eric along on a journey. What do we do next? We can't do everything at once. And so people will come to me and they either see me as a good partner or a hockey goalie. Oh, no. I usually ask 2 things. And the first thing I ask is, how important is this to our mission? How important is this to our community? How important is this to the broader community? Is there anybody else who could really do what we say we're going to do here? This project is always 5 standard deviations above any other thing that comes to my desk. And the importance of this, the unique nature of the work that Jeff described with committed people, it easily gets my full support and attention. The second thing I really ask for is, who's my partner? Because oftentimes, believe it or not, I'll be out at Kroger and people say, you need to do this. And I say, well, that's great. Do you want to help? Oh, no, I'm going to the broccoli. I'm going to the broccoli. And I need, I need water chestnuts. I'm doing, So I'll say, is it you need to do it or we want to do this? And so now, that's the second of the criteria I look at. So now I think of Monroe. And I think of Monroe saying, I'm going to do this. I think of Ann and Monroe. We're going to do this. And now I think of Edie, Kathryn, Julie. We're going to do this. And so this is just an amazing project that, to me, signals the very best of Vanderbilt and the community of people who deeply care. So insofar as I played some role, which wasn't hockey goalie, I really celebrate the extraordinary work done. Let me mention some other people, obviously the Carell family, but John Brock, the Miracle Maker, Steve Weber. I saw Meg Rush. I mean, there's so many people here who actually do the stuff that I get to say, isn't it great? But these people, their compassion, their brilliance, their dedication, their creativity, absolutely without parallel. And the building is spectacular, but if you don't have the people in the building committed, just think if you were bad at the amphitheater. It could have been the Coliseum Kicks. Bad music? Doesn't matter. We have such gifted people and such dedicated people. But let me mention some others. The campaign cabinet. I mean, that's usually, okay, well, you're going to give and get others to give. Or get, as we say. The Monroe Jr. Children's Hospital Board at Vanderbilt. Dedicated people who were on a board when that hospital didn't exist. That it was a hospital and a hospital. As I mentioned, the leaders of the hospital and all of the great citizens, the foundations, the organizations, and our corporate partners who realize that this is for a better community. And so there's so many people so dedicated, and I am very privileged to be a very small part of it and attend. And with that, Kathryn, let me call you up because you really deserve a lot of the great credit here.
Thank you, Nick. You've probably all heard me say this, and it's very true. This place is very near and dear to my heart. And I get teary every time I talk about this, but I'm so touched every time that I hear stories like the one we just heard from the Schmucker family. What an amazing thing. What a beautiful child. I'm so grateful to my parents, Ann and Monroe Carell. They dreamed big many years ago. And I'm so excited that so many people are stepping up to join us in this dream and to make the dream continue. As Kix mentioned, we officially launched our Growing to New Heights campaign last October. We gathered right here to celebrate our early partners. At that time, we had a $30 million goal. And I can proudly say that we met that original goal of $30 million in gifts and pledges. And we are so thrilled that the community has passionately embraced our efforts to improve the lives of children in the region. So much so that we decided to extend our goal. And our goal now is $40 million. We decided to extend the goal because of the passion in our community and the support that we felt that people gave us, and we're so excited and realized what really needed to happen here and that the hospital needed to be expanded. Just imagine when we hit our new goal, and notice I did say when, But when we get there, we will build more patient rooms and nurses' stations and everything that makes this hospital special. Just think of all the children who can get the care that they need. And it's because of so many families like you that have stepped up to show that you care. Our work isn't done. We need your help. We need all of you. I'm proud to say that we have more than 250 donors, members of this community that have contributed, plus many more through our community partners. Thank you very, very much. I'm also very proud to say that the members of the Monroe Carell Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt board are setting the pace. We've had 100% contribution from that board, and a special thank you to all of you. If you have not already, I hope that you have time to look at the monitors that are on the sides of the tent. That was probably something very important. But look at the monitors if you get a chance before you leave, because it lists everyone who has given to the campaign. It also has some great pictures of families and doctors and precious, precious children. We want to thank every one of you. You're a very vital part of this hospital. Every person here has a story to tell, and every person here is helping to make the expansion possible. And many more people who aren't able to be here with us under the tent today. And that includes the children who are across the street and their parents, and maybe it's the caregivers who are with them who are still waiting to find out about diagnosis or treatments. But they are glad to be here, and it is a wonderful place for them to be. We're all here for them and to show our support for them, to let them know that the community is behind them and pulling for them. We sent all the children in the hospital a small gift, sort of to continue this celebration. And we have those gifts also for our other kids that are here with us today. So I hope that everybody will enjoy them. We also have a little something for everybody else to take away. So be sure and see that in the back. You know, we still have a lot of work to do. There's passion and excitement here today, and that's going to help us reach our $40 million goal, because more children need the specialized care that they get here. More children need surgery, treatments, and diagnosis that will make their lives different, that will change their lives. They need us, they need you, and that's why we're all here. I want to say a very special thank you to my campaign co-chairs. It's an awesome team. They've been very fun to be with and to work with, and they've put so much energy and passion into this job. So many of you have heard from them personally, I bet. But if the campaign cabinet would come up here and join me for a moment, I've got a little something for them too. But Kix Brooks and Clarence Spalding are working with our entertainment industry partners, and they've been amazing. So Kix and Clarence, y'all have to come up. Rick Dreiling and Steve Hostetter, who are spearheading our corporate efforts, and Rick couldn't be here. He got called away on business, so he was sorry that he couldn't join us. And then Bobby Rolfe, who leads the efforts with the Bobby's been calling on all the Children's Hospital board members, and he has gotten 100% participation, as I mentioned earlier. Way to go, Bob. All right, I've got a little something for y'all. You have to put it on. I now have the honor to introduce to you our second family that's going to tell us about their incredible story of hope and healing. Laura and Justin Burney and their daughter Brooklyn are here from Clarksville to share their story. It took a multidisciplinary teamwork approach of our pediatric emergency department, neurologists, neurosurgeons, neuroradiologists, intensivists, and the outstanding PICU working together to help Brooklyn. Will you please welcome the Burney family to the stage, please?
Kix, we're going to allow her to keep her pacifier just to appease you, if that's okay. Okay, you guys are going to have to bear with me here. I promise to limit myself to one emotional pause per minute, okay? Visiting Children's Hospital is always bittersweet for us. In July of last year, there's my first one. Our world stood still for 24 hours inside the walls of that hospital. As some of you have probably read in the Reporter, printed earlier this summer, on Brooklyn's 1-month birthday, we brought her into the emergency department at the direction of our pediatrician. Brooklyn had suffered a perinatal stroke at birth, so when our pediatrician noticed that her head had grown 2 centimeters in the short week span, she ordered us to bring Brooklyn here as quickly as we could. Once we arrived, they immediately did a CT scan and realized that Brooklyn actually had a ruptured aneurysm. In the next 24 hours, she had not 1, but 2 emergency craniotomies, the second after her heart had stopped and the PICU team had to resuscitate her. All of this happened in the 24 hours on July 17th of last year. Reliving those 24 hours isn't easy for us. There's really no way to sugarcoat the events of that day. It was pretty terrifying. But Justin and I choose to focus on the more fond memories for that day and even the weeks that followed. We choose to focus on the overwhelming love and support we felt during that time. Our family and friends were absolutely amazing. They sat, stood, slept by our sides without us ever even having to ask. They provided us with so much love and even laughter when we needed it the most. And for that, we're forever grateful for them. We're also immensely grateful to those people here at the Children's Hospital. To the ED staff who immediately recognized the acuity of Brooklyn's situation, yet somehow they managed to keep us calm. To the anesthesiologist who made us kiss Brooklyn and tell her we'd be seeing her again soon as she was taken away to the OR for the first time. To the neurology resident who took his time to sit down and explain to 2 brain anatomy naive parents just what a craniotomy was. To the intensivist who also took his time to sit down with us and illustrate what an aneurysm was on a piece of notebook paper, and he promised us that she was in the best hands possible. And to the neurosurgeon who fortunately didn't take his time to have a sit-down conversation with us because he knew he had to get Brooklyn back to the OR quickly. To the neurologist who, while on vacation, reviewed Brooklyn's scans, and as soon as she returned, made it to Brooklyn's bedside to check on her. To the nurses who took care of her like she was own, and even coined the nickname for her, Super B. And of course, to our favorite neurosurgery NP, who still to this day comes running whenever we need anything. I'm sure she's regretted giving me her contact information at this point. And to all of the above, who we call our Super B team, we are forever grateful for each of you. Although we met under the most terrifying of circumstances, these people are our extended family now, and this place is like a second home to us. We're actually excited to come back and visit for appointments and see all these familiar faces. Even Brooklyn lights up when she sees some of the staff, as long as you don't have a needle, of course. But as I said before, it's always bittersweet to come back here and to visit. It's so nice to visit knowing that we have such a happy and healthy child. But to see the other sick children and to see the parents' faces whose hearts are breaking and they would give anything to take the place of their child, that hurts us. We've been there, Brooklyn's been there. We ache for them. Sitting in room 14 of the PICU last year, after we knew Brooklyn would be okay and the worst was behind us, we had a lot of time to reflect on things. Surrounded by so many sick kids, we knew then that we had to do something to give back. We contemplated donating to various organizations, some that were a bit more to Brooklyn's situation, various neurological research organizations, the American Heart Association for Stroke Research, etc. But ultimately, what we realized is that what these children need is the same amazing care that Brooklyn received here at Children's Hospital. To us, there is no better place to give back than to here. The fact that all of you are here today in this room means that you share our thoughts. You don't have to look very far around here to see what an amazing investment you're making. Just look at Brooklyn. Because of this place, she's here, and because of this place, she has a future. So I say thank you. Thank you to each of you in this room who took a part in saving her life, whether you are her doctor, her nurse, her surgeon, or you've donated to the Children's Hospital. You all played a part. We are forever grateful to each of you.
I'm going to keep this very simple so Daddy doesn't cry up here. It's already happened once. Thanks, Crystal. There's one thing that I really was looking forward to doing today, and that was acknowledging the Super B team who saved our little girl's life. Most of them are standing over here, so if you guys could raise your hands so that we can give you a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Did she behave enough?
Thank you. Well, the Schmucker and Burney stories obviously are just two of how many thousands? 250 kids over there right now with similar stories going on. And again, this is all about passion and importance for me. I mean, if there's so many people here I know that are asked to give, a lot of the same people in our community are asked to step up and to contribute to so many great causes in our community. If there's anything in our community that's more important than this right here, please share that with me, because I'll jump on board with you too. But I can't imagine what it is. And to me, the reason that we're here today, the reason that I really wanted to come and participate, it's good for me to remind myself just how important this is. Because we do have a job to do here. We have to raise this money. We have to build these floors on top of this hospital. And that all starts with passion. It's our passion. It's our hearts. We have to remind ourselves how important this is. And whatever it was that brought you here in the first place, remind yourself again. Dig deep in your own heart, and if you need to, go across the street and visit with some of these families and these children. I mean, for me, I go over there, so many of these small children, they don't know who I am from Adam. I'm not so arrogant to appreciate that. But even for me to hear these parents come up here and speak today, it's so important to realize these kids are so strong. I mean, they fight with their hearts and passion just without even knowing how strong they are. But as parents, good grief what you had to go through to see your own children deal with this. God bless y'all. And I can't even imagine the hours that you had to spend to get Gloria to come up here and play with those balloons and dance and clap like that. Seriously, y'all, thank you so much for coming here today. Thanks so much for your contributions. But don't forget, share this with your friends. Please share your passion and what you're doing with everyone in this community. We all have to pull together. We have to get more people, a larger part of our community, to understand, contribute, and to be a part of this. And don't forget, please, before you leave, come up here and sign this beam. We're going to look back on this as a great victory one day, and you want to see your name up there and remember We were a part of that. Appreciate you coming today. Thank you very much.